The first day, you may feel like tomorrow, oh, this is going to be fun, we're going to bring the Twizzlers and the pretzels. The next day, that person will be responsible for the Advil and the ibuprofen, because I guarantee you this is going to give you a little bit of a headache. Not because it is a headache, but you're going to think harder than you've ever had to think in your life.
In June 2008, dozens of teachers and administrators throughout Region 5 gathered together for 5 days at Idaho State University. Their goal, to create a blueprint that provides curriculum clarity for teachers, administrators, parents, and students.
Oh, it's been amazing. Like, everyone has great ideas and we're contributing, and it's fun because each of our math systems are different, and so we get to come together and talk about what's important in each school and what our focus is and things like that.
And I'm just excited because Friday we met as a district talking about our end of semester exams, and I'm guessing that after this week we'll probably have to redo those.
The gathering and its resulting blueprint are part of Total Instructional Alignment, also known as TIA. The TIA process ensures that alignment occurs in every classroom throughout the entire school district. Today we'll take a look at TIA in action, and we'll hear from teachers who are involved in the process.
Well, ours talks about how voice and the narrative style affect characterization. We wanted to articulate it in a way that, what does that mean to the student?
Total Instructional Alignment is spearheaded by education consultant Lisa Carter.
And again, I'm excited because I know what is in store for you guys as teacher leaders, and you all are teacher leaders in your own right. You were hand-selected to be here. It was not done at random draw. It had to do with your ability to be an outstanding teacher at your grade level in your subject area.
In her book, Total Instructional Alignment, From Standards to Student Success, Carter writes that the goal of TIA is to make sure that what we teach, how we teach, and what we assess are congruent.
Most everything that we're going to be doing this week you're going to find back in here. For instance, I'm going to go through a little section where we talk about how to do a task analysis, how to take an objective and break it down into the essential steps for learning. It's in here. I'm going to be talking about how to write an objective, because one of the things we're going to be doing as we work through the project is we're not just going to just be putting anything down for that kids should know and be able to do, but we're going to make it specific and measurable and write it in clear behavioral objective form.
Carter adds that it helps to think of total instructional alignment in terms of 3 broad but interconnected steps. First, alignment of the system. Second, alignment of the standards, curriculum, and assessments. And third, alignment of instructional practices within the classroom. We'll begin by discussing the meaning of each of those steps and how the June gathering tried to accomplish them. We'll then discuss the implications that the June meeting has for educators within Region 5. The first step in total instructional alignment is to align the system, meaning the system in which educators work. Carter writes that too often educators are guilty of passing the competency buck. She says that the competency buck passing system is characterized by the belief that each teacher is an independent contractor and that the responsibility for the academic problems of our students rests one level below us. The 5th grade teacher may complain about the 4th grade teacher. The 4th grade teacher may complain about the 3rd, and on down the line. Carter says that the first step in total instructional alignment is for educators to acknowledge that they can no longer see themselves as independent contractors and that student success will be the result of the collective efforts of everyone in the school system.
I think I was apprehensive because there's so much here. There's so many standards and objectives and that have to be articulated for teachers and students that it was overwhelming. But once we found a groove and we caught a vision of what we're supposed to say and how to articulate it, once we caught that vision, we're almost finished now.
To illustrate her point, Carter writes that we should visualize a ladder. The top rung represents what we want students to ultimately know and be able to do when they complete their schooling. At each grade level and subject area, each individual teacher must place a rung on the ladder that represents what students are to learn. If anyone at any grade level fails to place his or her rung securely, there is a gap in the ladder that will slow or even stop the student's ascent. Since all of the educators along the way must be successful in order for the student to climb the ladder, Carter writes that it makes sense that educators should work as a team.
And I know we can't use the word practice, but you can use? Yeah. Use a variety of organizational strategies.
At the June meeting, in order to assure teamwork, teachers were grouped by grade level K through 12 and by subject, either math or language arts. In addition, kindergarten teachers sat at a table next to first grade teachers. First grade teachers sat between kindergarten and second grade teachers, with a pattern repeating through the 12th grade. The seating arrangements were created with system alignment in mind.
Is there a chance a kid is taught the same thing for 3 grade levels? And the answer to that is yes. So we're going to keep that from happening. So we want that level of complexity to increase as a student is moving through the system. So it's got to be growing, not repeating itself year after year after year. And if you want to get a little more guidance about what you need to be doing, you can very easily go to the team next to you, the team ahead of you, and the team before you and say, what do you guys do and what do you need from us? And then maybe that will change even the way you're thinking. If you are the 6th grade teacher that has never talked to the 7th grade teacher because they're in a different building, you're going to see that they need this instead of this because we've never had that vertical articulation.
I love that they have, the computers up on the wall, projected up on the wall, the computer screen, so that we can look over, because we do that often here at this table. We look over at the first grade, say, oh, okay, they're on the similar standard that we're on, and what did they have down? Okay, we need, as a 2nd grade, to have something similar, but the next step. And 3rd grade, we've been doing a lot of talking back and forth, so I think it's great.
The second step of the total instructional alignment process is alignment of standards, curriculum, and assessments. Carter writes that this seems to be what most educators think of first when they hear the term instructional alignment. This step usually addresses the content teachers teach and what is assessed. As a starting point at the June meeting, teachers discussed and evaluated the Idaho state standards for math and language arts. Carter writes that when aligning standards, curriculum, and assessments, 2 questions must be addressed immediately. Is the curriculum teachers use aligned to existing standards? And do teachers have a very clear understanding of exactly what students are supposed to learn and how it will be assessed? Problems often arise because the established learning standards are vague, too broad, open to interpretation, and repeated from one grade level to the next. For example, one teacher's interpretation of a standard or benchmark may be completely different from the way the teacher next door sees it. The seating arrangements at the June meeting allowed teachers within a specific grade level to discuss and rewrite the standards.
Like we're dealing right now with the word respond. How would one respond to literature? What does that mean? So now we're digging in and trying to figure out what the standard meant. Respond in what way?
In our area, difficulties have been that some objectives are just so broad, so we've wanted to narrow those down, make them more specific, but with specific tasks of what learners will do. So going from the broad to the more specific sequentially, and that can be challenging.
The third step of total instructional alignment is alignment of the instructional practices in the classroom. In other words, what happens when the teacher goes into the classroom and closes the door. Carter writes that although we are sometimes hesitant to admit it, we know that the reality is most teachers can teach students virtually anything they want to teach them. She adds that for the most part, students trust the teacher's selection of content.
We all have our strengths and weaknesses, and as I sat around my table and they talked about how much they did with resumes and cover letters, I was going, oh, guilt, guilt, guilt. But I think each of us was able to do that, and that's what this document will do. It'll say, yes, I'm doing this, yes, I'm doing that, yes, I'm doing this, oh, great, check, 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 oops. I need to incorporate this. So the biggest thing, my biggest weakness is the resume and the cover letter. Probably because I don't like it very much. I've just chosen to look the other way and not do it. But now I can't.
Carter concludes that ultimately, alignment of instructional practices will depend on the expertise and conscience of each classroom teacher. Alignment of instructional practices in the classroom requires that teachers understand and deliver instruction in a manner that includes standards, curriculum, and assessment in their daily lessons. Teachers need to develop clear learning goals in the form of good, solid behavioral objectives. Those objectives need to be specific and measurable. Carter writes that this means school administrators must be true instructional leaders who are able to support, monitor, and adjust as the process occurs. The June gathering allowed teachers to practice writing objectives, and at the end of the week, administrators were invited to join teachers at a summary meeting that discussed how the entire process works.
I've been curriculum director. I think I just finished my 11th year. And I wish I would have known 11 years ago what I know now. This has been a truly remarkable professional development opportunity for all of our teachers and staff that were involved this week. The level of conversations, the richness of the conversations around the table, around what kids should be able to know and do has been truly amazing. And this has probably been one of the best professional development opportunities for me personally in the 11 years that I've been in this position.
As we consider the implications total instructional alignment has for Region 5 educators, we should consider two simple diagrams that Lisa Carter uses to show how TIA works. The first represents an instructional program that has not been aligned. She writes that the diagram represents a typical situation in a school or district that has not made a conscious effort to align its instructional program. The instruction circle represents the overall content that the teacher is actually teaching in the classroom. The curriculum circle represents what teachers are told they must teach. The evaluation circle represents the content that students will be held accountable for through assessment. Notice that only a partial overlap occurs among the three areas. The second diagram is one that shows a program that has been aligned using total instructional alignment and a program that Carter says will better ensure student success. Notice both the size of the circles and the order in which they appear. The instruction circle is the largest and encompasses both curriculum and evaluation. The reason is that teachers will usually teach more than what is contained in the curriculum guide. However, the curriculum circle is contained within the instruction circle. In other words, while instruction may go beyond the curriculum, no part of the curriculum is excluded from instruction. Finally, the evaluation circle falls within both the instruction and the curriculum circles. Assessments will spot check either what is in the curriculum or what has been taught, or both. Carter writes that the ultimate goal of total instructional alignment is student learning success, and that it makes sense that students tend to learn those things that are taught. She concludes that if we truly believe all students can learn given the time and resources necessary, we must do everything in our power to ensure that it happens in every classroom.